Sam Salehi, the Managing Director of for ANZ for Qualys. Welcome to ITWire.
Hey, Graham, thanks for having me.
Firstly, Sam, perhaps just give us the elevator speech about Qualys and where they fit.
Sure. Qualys is a pure play cybersecurity company, and all we do every day, all day, is protecting our customers with a focus of um, helping customers to find the risk within their environment and eventually eliminate the risk. Um, if you look at Qualys, been around for a long time, and we're very much focused on helping our customers elevate their cybersecurity game by starting in asset management, helping them identify vulnerabilities and eventually prioritize the risk associated with them and help them eliminate that risk in different shape or forms.
And your role, Sam?
I am the managing director for ANZ, so I'm responsible to make sure that we make our customers happy and also our partners happy.
So big picture, and we'll get into some of the detail a little bit later. Big picture, are we winning the cyber war?
Oh, that's a tough question. I
Because
think,
there's so many different answers, I suppose.
yeah, like I guess the challenge we're facing is not just the complexity, the pace, it's the evolving attack surface. So every customer I talk to, they're challenged with just identifying the attack surface. I think that's minimum to understand and have that visibility. So then you can start planning how you want to protect yourself. Um, so to answer your question, I think it's a very unfair war that we are in.
Okay, understand. So I know you've mentioned previously about CISOs and their role and whether they're too strategic rather than being, sorry, too tactical rather than being strategic. Do you want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I think we've done a research and I'm not sure whether you have actually looked at the research that has been done that is also published as well, and I'm happy to share the link with you. But when we looked at 100 odd different companies globally, we have noticed that only half of them have a proper risk management solution in place that is looking at, and when I say risk management, I'm talking about having a business context within that platform, right? I think that's the biggest challenge. I think having business context is a key, and that's what has been missing for a long time. A lot of companies or a lot of CISOs have been tactical because they couldn't link the business context into what's going on from a technology standpoint. And even when you double click on this 49% or 50% of companies that they had something in place, we've noticed that only some of them, or maybe 43 or 44% of them, put this in place 2 years ago. 19% of this are planning to do something around bringing business context and provide that level of visibility to their board. So I think that's the context which is missing is the biggest problem in my
So did the 50% surprise you?
opinion. Honestly, I thought there is less.
Oh, okay.
Based on
Okay.
the conversation I'm having with a lot of different CISOs, at least in this part of the world, I've noticed that a lot of the risk management which is happening, it is still in isolation, most of the time in spreadsheets, and not connected into the overall um, business risk, if you like. So I was surprised. I thought that this number should be lower, but I think it's great that it's 50%. There are more people thinking that risk quantification is the way to go. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that if you are prioritizing your resources to do something, you're doing the right thing.
So do you think the resources are being deployed in the right way then?
I don't think so. So when I talk to my customers, I've seen in many places that a lot of customers are focusing on attack surface. I'm sure that you heard this
Yes.
terminology. You know, we all talk about attack surface management, but at the end of the day, and what excites me about Qualys is we're moving from attack surface management to risk surface management. And that's where I think you can deploy your resources to do the right stuff. And what I mean by risk surface management, like imagine that in the room that you're sitting in today, you've got windows, doors, right? Those are your attack surface. That's how a bad actor or a thief can break in and come to your house, right? But what if there's nothing in that room that you're sitting in? It's empty, right? You don't have any of your crown jewels, you don't have your watches, right? So you're protecting that room, but there's absolutely nothing in it. And that's the business context. So a lot of our customers are still patching software that there hasn't been used for almost a year. So why do you patch it? Just uninstall that software. And that's, I think, where we need to shift our focus in terms of bringing business context, having good visibility into the assets that we have and the application running on those assets so we can prioritize what matters the most to our business.
So you recently launched a new agentic AI capabilities. Did you want to give us a bit of insight into that?
Yeah, sure. So I think just take a step back before we go to agentic AI. I think what we have done, which was really a game changer in my view, was the launch of our Risk Operations Center. So back in October, we launched what we call it ROC or Risk Operations Center, underpinned by our enterprise true risk management platform, where it's the unified view for technology risk management. So we bring all the asset inventory plus your vulnerabilities. We apply threat intelligence because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that if I'm focusing on this particular CV, it has been weaponized somewhere else, right? Otherwise, again, you can deprioritize some of that. You also want to make sure that you're bringing business context into the same platform because an asset which is running your critical applications has a different value compared to an asset which is in a test environment. So that business context is key when it comes to prioritization. You also want to leverage the same platform to do automation and response. And that's where the agentic AI comes in. So if you can Qualys, we're bringing telemetry of risk from Qualys components, plus enabling customers to bring third-party telemetry of risk, from your Microsoft, from Okta, from other technologies that we all use in our environment, to paint a 360-degree asset risk, if you like, with threat intelligence, your business context to prioritize what needs to be patched, right? And where agentic AI comes in is where you build workflows and automation to do a lot of that heavy lifting by the agentic AI so you can free up your resources to focus on strategic work.
So why have others not done this, and why did you go down this path?
I'm sure that others will catch up. It's just a matter of time. I guess we're focused on generative AI in the last year or last 2 years, and I think now we can see we are moving from just using generative AI to get AI to take actions, and that's why we took that path to make sure that we are helping our customers to build workflows, and this can be done in two different ways. So we've got a marketplace of already ready-made agentic AI agents, if you like, that they can do Patch Tuesday for you. I'm working with a customer in Australia that they're looking at Essential 8 as one of the mandate they have, and how do you build your agentic AI around implementing that and bring automation into your environment. You can also build your own agentic AI leveraging the platform. Imagine how you ask ChatGPT. It's all about prompt engineering. So there's an assistant, there's a cyber assistant program within the platform where you can prompt and get the answers you want from the platform, which is super helpful, reduce a lot of the time that your resources are, wasting to find answers. That's where I think we are helping our customers. And to answer your question, why we went down that path is for an obvious reason. I think by the end of this year, there's more than 3 million vacant cybersecurity jobs. So there are not many resources in the market, and I'm talking about global market, not just in Australia, but we are not very different from the rest of the world. It's always hard to find people. There's also a lot of burnouts. People don't want to do repetitive tasks. People want to do exciting work. So why don't we leverage agentic AI, get them to do what's repetitive, and then you focus on what matters the most and plan for your business and have the strategy to move forward.
I noticed on your LinkedIn profile, you've got the hiring logo on there. So how are you guys finding the recruitment component these days?
It's challenging, to be honest, Grant. I think it's a very competitive market. Though you see a lot of redundancies, but there are also many different companies that they are all trying to compete from the same talent pool. Whether it's your customers, your partners, other vendors like Qualys, we're all trying to attract from the same pool of talent, which makes it really competitive. And again, the fact that cybersecurity is such an on-demand topic at the moment, there are more people that they're getting interested to come into the industry. But I think to break through the industry is tough because always there are not many people that you want to trust, people that they're not coming from this industry. So that makes the talent pool really, really small, and the competition is fierce.
Do you have a solution for that?
Believe it or not, we have actually. So, and this is what I like about Qualys, because it has always been about thinking out of the box, and providing opportunities to people that they have the right ingredients. And I've been trying to do that in Qualys, and it's been really supported by my management in terms of giving opportunities with people that they're not necessarily the most experienced person in the room, but they have the potential to step up to become that person.
I'd be really interested, Sam, to understand your onboarding process. If a company says, I want to use your services, is that an easy process? How long does it take?
Yeah, 100%. So if you look at Qualys, my team in ANZ and the rest of the world are a combination of two sets of people with different skill set. So I've got salespeople that they talk to customers and explain the solution. And when a customer eventually purchase the product, they will be handed off to a technical account management team. And these people are experts that they have been leveraging the platform. They understand the platform very well to hold customers' hand to make sure that they can get onboarded in the platform quickly. To answer your question in terms of how long it takes, it really is like how long is a piece of string. It really depends on how many assets you want to bring into the platform. But very recently, we have actually moved the customer from one of our competitors to Qualys with more than 40,000 assets, and the whole process took less than 3 months. So just maybe to give you some context in terms of the complexity around all these migrations. But I guess what makes Qualys unique is we are one agent, one platform, one view company truly. All you need is, I mean, if it requires an agent, once you have our agent, all the different applications we have at Qualys, which is more than 20, can be run through that one agent. So you don't need to have multiple agents, and you get the same outcome through one single dashboard, leveraging that one agent.
So everybody's after simplicity, I gather, is what.
100%. I think for a long time, complexity has been the number one enemy for cybersecurity. And sometimes we think that bringing that complexity is going to help us to achieve a better outcome. But I've seen it again and again that going down a path of platformization where it reduces that complexity helped a lot of our customers.
So is there one thing you'd recommend to businesses, listening to this interview about what their first step should be, perhaps apart from picking up the phone to call you, but
Yeah, that's definitely the number one thing they need to do. But joke aside, I think It all starts with visibility, Grant. I think what I've noticed is a lot of our customers are challenged by just identifying the assets they have, whether they're on-prem, in the cloud, IT, OT, IoT type of assets. And when you don't have that visibility, it's really hard for you to start protecting because you don't really know what you're protecting. So I think my suggestion or recommendation to those that are listening to this conversation is always start with discovery, understand what you have within your environment. And I guess what again makes us very unique in this space is we've got what we call it attacker's eye view reports, where I can look at your business from an external point of view and tell you that if somebody wants to penetrate into your environment, what is the weakest point. That helps them a lot in terms of focusing on the right stuff. And once you have that, they need to make sure that it is linked to business context. I think that's, as we discussed at the beginning, is the biggest piece which is missing in this puzzle. That when you don't know where that asset sits in your environment, you spend a lot of time and energy fixing things that they don't really have an impact on your business.
How do you think Australia and New Zealand are perhaps compared to the rest of the world? Are we on par in what we're doing?
Um, I don't think that we are on par. I think there are areas that we are catching up because, and I think that the main reason for that is compliance regulations. I think, of course, compliance has been always a biggest driver for cybersecurity improvements in the US and in Europe. I guess we're catching up. There's still a long way to go, but there are mandates that talks about shifting the focus from just the basic stuff to bringing a lot of automation and response and things like that into how we are running our businesses in Australia.
Sam, I've really enjoyed our chat. Is there anything you'd just to wrap up? Is there anything you'd like to say, or something that I haven't asked you?
Something I wanted to highlight is again, the risk quantification and shifting the focus from attack surface to risk surface is such an important topic for Qualys that if you look at the history of Qualys, we have been running a conference called Qualys Security Conference, or QOCs, over the years in different regions. We are now changing that name to ROCON, which is the Risk Operations Center Conference, because we think that this is the way to go. You've got limited amount of resources, you've got limited money to spend on cybersecurity. You want to make sure that you're spending that money on the right stuff, which matters the most for your business. And the only way to do that is by identifying the risk that you're going to mitigate. And that's why we're even shifting our focus to be more around risk quantification.
So do you, just as a follow-up question, do you think companies are spending enough on cybersecurity?
I think the spend on cybersecurity is increasing, but in complete honesty, I don't think Grant is about spending money. I think it's about spending money on the right stuff, whether that money is the resources you have in your business, the security analysts, the security engineers, the architect, or the technology you're buying. I don't think it's about lack of a spend. It's about focusing on what matters the most for your business. And it all starts with visibility, prioritization, and leveraging the platforms you have to bring automation and response in your environment.